Hey, good afternoon. My name is Matt West. This is my first cigar review, and I'm going to be reviewing the Romeo Y Churchill. This is not the cigar I initially picked to review today. I was going to review the Punch Diablo. It's a really, really heavy Maduro, big cigar, and this is really mild. I switched to this because the COVID's going around, and I have a cough. And see, I don't want to kill myself this afternoon. So I'll be reviewing this Romeo. It's a Y Churchill 55 ring gauge from Cuba. I've been smoking it for maybe 10 minutes, and it's an excellent cigar. It's got this nutty, leathery flavor. It's pretty tightly packed, so it's got a good draw. Right, the wrapper is excellent. There's no tears. It's just a good quality cigar, and that's really surprising coming out of Cuba. And here's why I say that. If someone's a new cigar smoker, they typically think that Cuban cigars are awesome. They're the holy grail of cigars. Everyone wants a humidor full of Cubans. More veteran cigar smokers know that that's absolutely not true. Out of the top 25 cigars of Cigar Aficionado's list, two were Cuban for 2019. So they're massively overrated. If you get a box of 20 Cuban cigars, 3 or 4 of them will normally be duds. Now, I've done some research on this one. The great thing about this cigar, they all seem to be good. No one's posted a review yet where they said, yeah, I had a box of 20 and 3 of them sucked. Most of them seem to be really high quality, like this one. They're simply great cigars. There's a few reasons why Cubans are overrated, and I do want to make this kind of a more educational video and not just about the cigar. Cubans are overrated because they're the forbidden fruit, right? Everyone wants it. So everyone in America associates it with this rare thing that you can't have, so they must be good. Well, rare doesn't mean good. Rare just means you can't have it. And the reason they're not great cigars is 2 main reasons. One is that when the Cuban government took over, they wanted to make money. So you make more money if you plant more tobacco and make more cigars. But you have to rotate crops, and they ignored that. So they planted all their fields of tobacco all the time, instead of rotating fields, right? Like we learned in elementary school science class. You will burn all the nitrogen out of the soil by planting all the time. So they ruined it from that aspect. The other is quality control, right? Communist states are not known for making quality products, so their factories just can't get the quality control down. Now, some of their higher end stuff, right? The Protegas, the Cohibas, and some of the Romeos are still great cigars. And this is one of those. But overall, in Europe, Cuban cigars are the common ones, right? They're the cheap ones that no one really wants to smoke. It's cigars from Honduras, Dominican, Nicaragua that are great cigars. So again, I say that this is a great cigar, especially for a Cuban, but it's a good cigar in general. A little bit about the brand, right? So Romeo y Julieta, great brand. They do have a non-Cuban version of it, and they make great cigars too, but this is the original Cuban. This is one of the cigars, not the specific one, but one of the brands that Winston Churchill really liked, which is why they end up naming a bunch of stuff after Churchill. Funny story about Churchill. So when he was prime minister during the war, he was given a box, or rather a cabinet of about 10,000 cigars, massive amount. And he was told by the British government, you can't smoke these, they might be trying to poison you. Which seems like pretty good advice. So they spent months testing some of these cigars, and they finally came back to Churchill and said, you're good to go, you can smoke them, they're not poisoned. Probably still not a good idea to smoke them, but you can do it. And Churchill responded by saying, oh, I've been smoking them the whole time. I've been handing them out to cabinet members, parliament, everyone. They're not poisoned, we'll be dead already. So he even had a party where he had 20 war cabinet people over, handed out these maybe poisoned cigars, and luckily no one died. One thing I would say about acquiring this cigar and Cubans in general, just go to Cuba. You could order this online and probably pay $20, $30, I don't know, an absurd price. It's going to be a half to a third of what you're going to pay online if you just go to Havana and get it yourself. Flights from Atlanta to Havana, once the coronavirus thing's gone, $350, $400. Right, so by the time you fly down there and get a relatively cheap hotel and a taxi, you're almost going to break even on one box of cigars. And certainly by the time you buy 4 boxes, it's going to be cheaper just to fly down to Cuba. You know you're getting real cigars. They're higher quality. You can inspect them yourselves. When I went in some of these cigar stores in Cuba, even the nice state-run cigar stores, they had some crappy cigars, crappy Cuban cigars. So I was able to look at these, look in the box, and see, yeah, that does look nice. Like, that's a well-made cigar. So yeah, that's my review. Someone said that they were smoking this for an hour and a half. I don't see how. It's just not that big of a cigar. I think it's a 5-inch cigar. One little educational fact: you will burn through a cigar so much faster outside. I mean, 20-30% faster at least. If I'm smoking in my billiards room, cigars last way longer. Even so, if I was sitting downstairs, I don't think this thing's lasting an hour and a half. Someone must just smoke a lot slower than I do. But overall, great cigar. So again, the Romeo Y Churchill, I would strongly recommend it. It is nice and mild, so if you're having tea for breakfast on a Saturday morning, this would be a great cigar to pair with it. So again, that's my first cigar review. I'm planning on doing these at least once a week and try to present some information that not only will educate you about a particular cigar, but some stories about the brands, about where they're from, just cigar educational stuff in general. One thing that I do like about this, as opposed to most Cubans, it's actually burning evenly. Like, I'm not going to have to go through and relight this on one side, and it draws great, right? Nice, tight cigar. So I hope you like the review, and again, I'm planning on doing a lot more of them, so please follow.